Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another stream. And I had to bring Rodrigo back on, fan favorite of the channel, of course. And Real Madrid are playing Man City at home in the second leg of the Champions League semifinal. And I think that reverse fixture was probably my favorite game of the season. Like, no exaggeration. Like, it was insane. We're going to talk about it all. But first off, Rodrigo, thanks again for waking up super early, as you always do, to hop on. I really appreciate it. And how's everything going?
Everything's going well. Yeah, just making sure my eyes don't look too sleepy, making sure I look awake for you guys. It's always a pleasure being in your channel. I think the videos always come out phenomenal from the beginning all the way to the end. So I'm super excited to be back and talk about this Man City game.
So I want to kind of like rewind a little bit to talk about the last fixture because we didn't speak about it all that much. I was like messaging you during the game. But were you expecting such a high scoring game in that match? Because I was not. I predicted a 2-1 City win, 4-3. Like, what the heck?
Yeah, there's a lot of different sides. So my initial answer is no. I was not obviously, but I think not many people were expecting such a high scoring game. I actually, for the first time ever in my life, I actually placed bets on a game. I have a friend who lives in Louisiana where you can actually place bets. So I told him, I was like, hey dude, like hey, can you put in something? Let's just see what happens. And I actually put in bets about one of them was like Madrid winning 1-0. The other one I even put a bet that there would be less than 3 goals. So I was putting these bets, but at the same time, I talked to him and I was like, I don't know how confident I feel about this, just because of the fact that City was going in there missing 3 starters in defense. Yeah, I know John Stones did end up playing, which was a interesting move from Pep to kind of confuse Madrid in saying that he was hurt or whatnot. But yeah, they were missing Cancelo, they were missing Walker, and they were missing Stones. So I was like, okay, well, City is missing 3 of their 4 starting defenders, and then Madrid on the other side was missing Casemiro, who's huge in their defense, and also Alaba was coming back from injury, which we saw he wasn't even fit enough, and he had to be subbed out at halftime. So there were already some signs there that each team was coming, with a weak defense, and it definitely showed.
Is insane. So Casemiro was out injured, or
Yeah.
it wasn't a selection thing, because I remember I saw the starting 11, but I'm not like following
No.
Real Madrid every single week. Okay, so it was a selection issue. Is he ready? Is he fit to be back in this match?
Yes, he played last weekend, played phenomenal, and he's been training all week, so he'll be back. The only unfortunate injury that we will have is Alaba. He's not going to be able to play.
So who's going to come in his place? Nacho?
Yeah, Nacho is the likely substitute. There have been talks about Casemiro, who can play center back, and he's done it there before. He could play center back, and then you put Camavinga or Fede Valverde in the middle with Modric and Cruz. I don't think Ancelotti will do that. Knowing him, he's not the type of guy to experiment like that. And when he does experiment, it usually just works out even worse. So I think he's gonna want to go for just basic, put Nacho, just replace Nacho for Alaba, and then Casemiro back at center defensive mid.
So what do you think is going to be the strategy going into this game? Because you must score at least 1 goal. But the thing with Man City is that if you attack them, they are super well versed to just attack you straight away and take advantage of the counter attack, because they are just so speedy. So how do you think that Real Madrid are going to approach this game?
Yeah, that's a great question. They have to be smart about it. I keep replaying different scenarios of this game, and like the best way scenario, obviously, and it's so hard for me to picture a scenario in which City won't score at least 1 goal, which is pretty terrifying, knowing that you have to, ideally, if you don't want to go to penalties, you got to win by 2. So your Madrid's going to have to play a nearly perfect game, but at the same time,
because if they score, then you need 2 goals.
Okay, yeah. Well, if City scores, then you're going to have to score 3. Yeah. But I'm saying like Madrid just has to win by 2 if they want to prevent penalties. I mean, they could win by 1 and then just go to penalties and then hope to win in penalties, which my heart will probably fail if they go to penalties. Yeah. Oh gosh, Jesus, I can't even think about that. But just right here, quick plug to remember to subscribe if you want to see potentially that happen. Whatever happens, I'm gonna be losing my mind. So you're guaranteed a good video. Let's see. Yes, but so you know that City very likely to score a goal, especially Madrid's defense in the past couple weeks to month has not been a defense that just makes me really hopeful for that clean sheet. Aside from that, Madrid needs to keep in mind that in reality, they're only a goal behind. So they don't have to go out there and play this crazy game to make this crazy comeback, because in reality, all they got to do is win a game in their own stadium. You know, whether it's in penalties or in complete, full time, all they got to do is score one goal. That's the mentality that I think they should go in. We got to go play our game. If the first half is tied, that's perfectly fine. If anything, it probably is a better strategy to, obviously, if you score an early goal, cool. But if you go out there to kind of just keep the game close, keep it a physical game, and then just keep it 0-0 up until the second half where you can start to turn it up a little more, that would be great. Obviously, against a team like Man City, you probably won't control the tempo of the game all 90 minutes. So you'll have to take advantage of that, and you're going to have to – I mean, it sounds like common sense, but you're going to have to make sure there's no mistakes. You cannot afford to make mistakes like you did in the first leg, because look at that. Like, City literally well, they punished you, but they literally could have buried you 6 feet under, and we could have easily lost that game 6-1, 6-2. I think the overall sensation is that Madrid came out of that game with a win. Honestly, like, I think that's how it felt, because we could have easily lost by 4 goals and this game would mean nothing. But somehow we lost by 1 goal. Somehow City didn't take advantage of all the opportunities they created. They hit so many posts. It wasn't even Courtois coming up with huge saves. It was just City messing it up on their own. So they're the ones that are giving us a lifeline, and I think Madrid is going to want to prey Madrid is going to want to prey on City's fears. I feel like they have PTSD in this competition. They don't have the experience to kind of go through these games, and you could tell in the Atletico Madrid game, they went out there kind of scared, and it was the same scenario. They were up by 1 goal. And Madrid, I will say right now, obviously, Madrid is a better team than Atletico Madrid. Offensively, defensively, Madrid may lack a little more sometimes. However, in La Liga, Madrid has conceded less goals than Atletico has. So Madrid can play defense. Yes, we have the missing Alaba, which is a big, big, big loss. But it is what it is. So I'm pretty sure Madrid, to kind of fully finish answering your question, Madrid's going to come out as hard as they can the first 15 minutes. Obviously, Madrid needs to be careful not to concede in those first 15 minutes, because that would be really crucial. But they're definitely going to want to come out hard to get the fans hype. They need to take advantage of being in their own stadium, and if they don't come out hard, the fans might kind of just die down a little bit and just be more calm, and you're going to want to have the fans crazy the whole game. So I think that would be a good game strategy. And then if you don't score in those first 15 minutes, the next 30 minutes of that first half, just play a smart game, keep it close, don't go too crazy, and then in the second half, you can start to turn it up again.
Yeah, that makes total sense. In my mind, I'm thinking, like, will the Chelsea game affect them at all, knowing that we went 3-0 up at the Bernabeu? Yeah. And they came back into that game, so maybe it doesn't at all affect them. But I'm thinking mentally, maybe there might be a little piece, like, they were in the lead against us, and we still managed to, like, claw 3 goals back somehow. But then, of course, Benzema's brilliance at it again.
I heard that sounded like there was a little pain right there still.
People are like, "Oh, how was the game?" And I'm like, "Don't talk to me about it." Yeah.
I think afterwards, when I was texting you about it, I could just tell you did not want to talk about it. I was like, all right.
I was like, yeah, I'm sorry, I love you, but no, I can't talk about it. It's too wrong.
Which makes complete sense. No hard feelings. I was like, all right.
In the stadium as well, like surrounded by all of the Real Madrid fans, like I just wanted to cry.
They were probably all happy, and you're just all sad, depressed.
I was just like, screw you. Like,
stop. The way the game went, it wasn't just like Madrid easily won it. Like, you guys. Okay, I don't mean to bring this back up.
I know, but the thing is, like, I kind of feel like a little bit of relief. Like, obviously, I want my team to go, like, as far into every competition as possible, and I want to see them do well. But with the way that we've been playing recently, like, I feel like City probably would have destroyed us. and so I kind of like am a little bit happy that we got saved from that. And then it makes for like a super interesting and fascinating game of football that I'm a neutral fan. And so I can just sit and enjoy it. So that's a positive, like after a couple of weeks of letting myself chill about it. But do you think that that's going to play into their minds at all, or do you think they're just going to be like, "Now we won"? Like,
I mean, maybe, but also the scenarios were so different. Like Madrid came out to that game with the wrong mentality. I feel like I'm hoping they're going to come into the right mentality, especially after winning the league like this past weekend. They're going to come in a little more hype. I felt like with that Chelsea game, unfortunately, they came out the worst possible way, which was with the mentality of we have the lead and let's just try to protect it, which is exactly what I said they shouldn't do. They went out there to protect the lead, and it cost them, and they didn't go out there to win the game. When Madrid goes out there to win the game, it's a different story. So with going into this game with a different mentality is going to be like the key. I think they also know that they went out to the first leg of the Man City game with the wrong mentality. They've just gone in with the wrong mentality to almost every single game in this Champions League and somehow on their way to survive.
So why do you think that they were? I'm curious because like why do you think they went into the City game with the wrong mentality? Because for me, I was like, Man City are incredible. Like, I felt that Chelsea had dominated Real Madrid at the Bernabeu and they dominated us at Stamford Bridge. But I was like, I don't know. I could see this City side just dominating almost any team in the world. So it wasn't like super surprising to me. And like from a neutral perspective, I was like impressed with the way that Madrid were able to get one back. Like they just would go 2 goals down and then they consistently get one back. Oh, go 2 goals down again. Okay, we have to get one back again. And like consistently just fighting. So it's interesting to me to hear that you said that they didn't have the right mentality going into it.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Maybe not necessarily that they went in with the wrong mentality, but the way the game started completely shifted their mentality. I don't think in their game plan, whatever Ancelotti had kind of decided on and the way we're going to approach the game, I don't think they had thought about a scenario in which City scores within the first minute of the game. And yeah, and it was once again, it was a really good play from City, but also I feel like Carvajal could have done a little bit better marking. Whatever, it already happened. And so that goal, I feel like just stunned the team because the way Madrid plays, and I feel like the way they were approaching the game was very much of like, let's just keep this game as close as we can and then take advantage of whatever chances we do create because Madrid has shown to be a very clinical team. So that characteristic, that trait of being clinical has kept Madrid in this competition. Obviously against Chelsea, against PSG, and against City, they've also shown it. But at the same time, whenever they're down, that's when they struggle a lot because they struggle. And I guess it's kind of part of, an aging midfield that struggles to kind of keep control of the game because they don't have the stamina and the pace in their legs to kind of keep up with these younger midfielders. So they have to make sure that they always keep a really tight game in order to keep themselves in the game. And whenever they saw themselves down 1-0 after 1 minute, and then the way City started that game, which was just like unleashing like all their power and potential, and they actually end up being rewarded with a second goal. At that point, I was just like, we were looking at like Mount Everest to climb. And I was like, I literally said in the video, and I was like, the only thing Madrid can do here now is just keep playing their game that they came in here with. Keep the game close, and then whenever a chance arrives, score 1 goal, and then you're right back in it. You're down by 1 goal, and that's fine. If you're playing in Manchester, so it's fine to be down by 1 goal. And that's exactly what happened. They were able to somehow find Benzema pulled that goal out of nowhere.
I have no idea how he scored that.
It's an unbelievable goal.
Like and what I really love about Benzema is that I saw him on the pitch. Like I saw a lot of players that looks like they felt like defeated already after you go 2 goals down to City, and realistically they should have been up 4-0. Like before halftime, they should have been up 4-0. But Benzema was like rallying the team the entire time. He was like, no, come on, guys, fight, like push, press, let's go. We can beat their press. We can get a goal. And he just pulls it out of nowhere. And I was like, classic Benzema. Like,
it's crazy. Yeah, you saw the faces of the team after City scored, Gabriel Jesus scored that second goal. And they like zoomed in on Modric, on Toni Kroos, and they look defeated. Like I had not seen them. Whenever they went down against Chelsea, like they would zoom in on them, and they were still kind of like, "Come on, guys, like let's go, we can do this." Whenever they zoomed in on them after that City second goal, they looked defeated, and that's when I got just really worried. And I was like, "All right, well, at this point, whatever happens, happens." But yeah, Benzema was the only one kind of keeping them alive, and he had the magic to score that insane goal that I don't know how he finished that. Like it was crazy.
I have no, and the Vinicius goal was so
Yeah.
good as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Like really quality goals. And so I want to go into like the starting 11 that you think should start or maybe will start against City, and maybe how those players are the ones, like why those players should be starting, like how they're going to combat like everything that City throws at you. Because you mentioned the midfield is aging, and we saw against Chelsea, like Modric still has, like that was probably like one of the best assists that I've ever seen. Like it was just ridiculous. The only other one that I can think of that is like the top of my list is this. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like a Fabregas assist for Shirley against Burnley.
I probably have, but I'm not remembering it right now.
If you haven't seen it or you're not remembering it, go watch it, because that assist was also like, I saw that and I was like, what the hell? So those are like my top 2 assists ever.
Yeah.
But anyways, starting 11, how they're going to play against this City side. And the point that I was making before I went on that tangent was, for example, like you mentioned that the midfield is aging. City is just, I don't know how they do it, but they just swarm you. They just press you. They swarm you. It makes it feel like they have twice as many players on the pitch at any given time. And like how Madrid is going to deal with that as well. But let's start with the starting 11, because I'm getting ahead of myself. Obviously, in goal, Thibaut Courtois.
Obviously, we're not going to spend too much time on him. We know why he needs to start and that he's going to start, in period. Obviously, Courtois will he comes up with one huge save every game, so hopefully, he can keep us in the game at our worst point, because there is going to be a point where Madrid is just submerged with City's press, just like you said. So I'm just praying Courtois comes up big yet again, and I'm sure he will. I have full trust and faith in him. So that's that. Let's just kind of move on to the defense. Left back, Mendy, and this is another one that every time Mendy comes back from an injury, he plays bad, or at least he doesn't perform as good as he normally does. We saw it last year against Chelsea. He came back against injury against Chelsea as well, and then I think he was out again. Bottom line, he did not play that great of a game against City. Mendy is not the most technical player, and you could tell whenever City was pressing him as hard as they were that he was he looked a little bit off with the ball. His ideas didn't look clear, except he did keep looking for Vinicius Jr. until it finally, that play that he kept on trying finally worked out, where Vinicius was able to, get it through his legs, and what he did after that. Aside from that, though, Mendy, if he's in good form, like he can keep up with Mahrez, with whatever attacker City has up there. Keep in mind that City this game is actually going to have Cancelo on that, or Walker actually on that right back spot attacking Mendy. So Mendy's going to have double the problems this time, whereas last time he didn't really have to worry that much about the right back, even though Fernandinho still came in there and did amazing up until, Foden's goal. And then after that, he messed up against Vinicius Jr. But what I'm trying to say is Walker's going to be attacking a lot more than Fernandinho did. Now, that might open up more spaces for Madrid in the attack. However, Walker's still a great defender. But getting ahead of myself. So we'll see. The thing with Madrid's defense is, like, I'm not too sure which one to expect, because sometimes we have a defense that goes out there and gets a clean sheet and defends phenomenally. And sometimes we have a defense that goes out there and just plays terrible, like against Chelsea in the second leg, against City the first leg. So I'm not too sure which Mendy to expect. And aside from adding on to that, Carvajal on the other side, also super inconsistent in the past couple seasons. At least this season he's been able to stay a little healthier, because previous seasons it was just injury after injury. This season he's had injuries, but at least he's coming into this end of the season a little more in form and a little healthier. But like I said, he always has that spell of 10 minutes in a game where he just looks like an absolute kid that doesn't know what he's doing. He goes out there and fouls. He goes out there and just pulls jerseys, messes up with the ball. So that's my main concern. Which defense are we going to see? Militao, once again, a phenomenal defender that has just grown so much the past couple seasons, but he can't help to have his moments of just brain farts where you're like, dude, what are you doing? And so that's kind of concerning. Nacho is used to being a really consistent defender, but at the same time, consistently like not the best defender. He's like a step behind, being the best defenders. So, and especially against a team like City who can expose you so easily, it's a little concerning. So, I think that's going to be the back four.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, we'll see we'll see how
who shows up.
Yeah, if they show up, and that's my main concern. Midfield, I think we're gonna see the main three: Cruz, Modric, Casemiro, with Fede Valverde as the right wing coming back to help out in defense. I thought, even though Rodrigo is having such a good end of his season, every time he starts, he does not play as good as he can. So I think he's best coming off the bench as like a second wind, that extra bit of energy. I think that's when he does best. So that's why I want Ancelotti to start Valverde at the right wing, even though we may lose out on like some attacking potential, but that's fine because we want to keep this game tight. We want to keep this game close. We don't need to go out there and just score right away. So if we can just keep City into that second half, and that's when City will start to get a little more nervous. We saw it in the Atletico game. The first half they played better, but the second half, that's when City started to get nervous, and that's when Atletico started to create a lot of chances, and especially in those last 20 minutes. So with the experience that Modric and Toni Kroos will bring, it'll be great. Yes, obviously, like I said, they struggle to keep up with their midfield a lot more, but that's why you have Fede Valverde there. That's why you have Casemiro, who can provide with those tackles that we didn't have that first leg, and we had no one. Toni Kroos was playing as that center defensive mid, which I was for because we really didn't have anyone else that could fill that job, and I didn't think Camavinga would be the starter. And Kroos got walked all over. He could not keep up with City's speed. So having Casemiro is a little more. It makes me, a little more relieved because I know Casemiro can keep up with them a little more, even then Casemiro can sometimes be a little slow, but he will put in that hard tackle when he needs to. He will pick up a yellow card when he needs to, and so be it. Things that Kroos was not doing. So in that sense, that makes me feel a little bit better. We have Valverde that will come out in defense, help out in defense, and also Valverde can be good going up with the ball. So he could provide something up top, and then Vinicius and Benzema. I'm not.
Yeah, that is. I was gonna say the stars, but the whole team is just like speckled with stars, so that's not fair to anybody else. It makes a lot of sense. So, do you think that the main, how should I word this? Like, the key for Madrid in this game is to not get overrun in the midfield and to have like Valverde and Casemiro kind of picking up, like the pieces of the midfield of making sure that it stays strong.
Yeah. I mean, City moves the ball. And this isn't the first time I say it. I'm not just saying this because I saw them play against the way they did against Madrid. I've seen them play various times this season and previous seasons, and I've always told like Ricky, like they move the ball so fast, so well, like no other team in overall Premier League. I feel like moves the ball a little faster than La Liga, but watching City play is unbelievable, like how fast they move the ball. So the team is just gonna have to be extremely focused. I mean, obviously, I'm sure they better be, and it goes without saying, but they're gonna have to be extremely focused because you can't allow a second. Like, I mean, you saw that last goal that Bernardo Silva scored whenever the team stopped playing for half a second because they thought the ref was going to call a foul. And what did City go do? Literally,
that was so crazy.
That shot was just crazy. Like, what are the odds he makes that? Like, literally, Courtois was just like stopped too. Like, he just
he was planted.
He did, but he was stopped too, and then he just reacted so late, and it was just like, oh.
Yeah.
But somehow we found another goal.
Yeah, the penalty. And I was a little bit nervous because the commentators were saying that Benzema had actually missed the cheap penalties in the weekend before. And then he has the nerve to do a Panenka. I was like, what the hell, man?
This guy, he's crazy.
I wouldn't have the nerve. I wouldn't want to take a penalty in that big of a game. Like, I don't know how these guys handle the pressure. I really don't. So how do you see this game playing out? Like, who do you see scoring first, and what's your final score prediction for the match?
That's a tough question. That's such a tough question for me to
I don't
answer.
have it clear either, because after that 4-3 result, I'm like, anything can happen. Like
Anything can happen. That's why, like, I mean, whatever prediction I gave, like, could happen. It could not. It's really hard for me to see, like I said, City not scoring a goal.
Like you said, they kind of like it's kind of like the Champions League is the thing that's always eluded them. They've won the league like so many times I can't even count. Like they just win it every year, and then maybe Liverpool will challenge them a year or two for it. But the Champions League, they haven't won it. They haven't won it, and that's what Pep really wants to do.
Every year I say, okay, City's a top contender. This has got to be their year. Is this their year? I don't know.
If it goes to City, Liverpool, I honestly see Liverpool edging it. I do.
I don't want to see City win it. I don't want to see Liverpool win another one.
Liverpool have already won it, so I'm like, what's another one? Like,
yeah. Let's see. Let's go back to your question. If I don't necessarily see Madrid scoring in the first half. If there's a goal in the first half, it'll be City's. If there's a goal in the second half, it'll be Madrid's. That's where I'm going to put it. So if Madrid score, if somehow, what I said comes true and Madrid is able to score the first goal in the second half, then I'm going to say that the game could end 1-0 for Madrid, 2-1 for Madrid. And then I just have this feeling that the game's going to go to penalties. That Madrid's going to win the game somehow by 1 goal, and it's going to go to penalties. And after that, I'm not putting a prediction because it's a.
I think that. I have no idea. I'm just.
And this is me being optimistic. Obviously, City could easily just win the game 2-0 or just 2-1. And then
as a fan, you always want to predict that your team's going to
like. Right. Yeah, I don't want to predict.
At least the game. That's what I always like on TikTok. People are like, oh, you're deluded. Chelsea will never win again. This was for the second leg. Chelsea will never win against Madrid. I was like, anything's possible. But also, I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm not going to be like, yeah, like we're going to lose like 1,000%. Like I'm never going to say that. Sorry.
No.
I'm going to say City score in the first half, but then Madrid get 2 back.
It's just so crazy for me to think that Madrid could go and do it again, like what they did against PSG. Like they already did it against PSG. They went and did it against Chelsea, where they were already losing all of those ties, and then they went and scored multiple goals to win it. Like, what are the odds that happens again? It's. I
say it goes to pens, but City lose their nerve on pens. They don't have good penalty takers. Well, not that they don't have good penalty takers, but I know like they constantly are like changing them around because they don't have like a consistent penalty taker that like 10 out of 10 always scores. And then I say Madrid. Well, I don't really care who goes through.
Modric,
I'll see an all-English final because I find that's like super boring. So I say Real Madrid go through to give it like some.
I don't want to see an English final. I think that would be boring.
That's them like Spurs versus Liverpool, and then Chelsea, Man City. It's like I see this fixture literally all the time. Like, give me something different.
Give us a break. No more Premier League finals. Even though there were a lot of La Liga, well, not even finals, but a lot of La Liga games, and I feel like
to be two always. I don't care which teams it is. Well, like obviously I want Chelsea to be one, but I just want, if Chelsea's not in it, I want two teams from different leagues. Otherwise, it's just like
yeah. I mean, shoot, I do too.
So I don't know. Let's see what happens, guys. Like what I always say is like, no matter what happens in the game, like you can't ever count Madrid out because they have this like belief that they are like the best. Like they're the best in the competition, and they've won it so many times, and they're gonna always believe in themselves to do it. And I'm really fucking looking forward to the game. Like I can't wait for it. I really can.
Yeah.
But I know. I'm excited. Watch it be like super boring now that we're like all hyping it up after that first.
Look, if it's a boring game, that means it's going to be a good game for me. Like I don't want a high scoring game. I as much as like a neutral would love that, I can't have that for my own sanity. So if it's a boring game, that means that it's probably 0-0 or it's 1-0, and that means that Madrid is still in it. So I will do that.
I completely understand where you're coming from, because when it's Chelsea, I'm like, my heart, like, this is literally taking years off of my life. My heart cannot take it. But Rodrigo, thanks so much for joining me. I know you have to head out, but I really appreciate you waking up early. Like, I need to have like some crazy hour whenever we do. We'll be doing a Rudiger special on his channel at some point whenever like the news is official, and like we'll make sure that it's 1,000% perfect for you at whatever time of the day it is, or night for me. Yes. But thanks for joining, and yeah, let everybody know where they can find you.
Guys, as you can see right down there, El Merengue Culé. Obviously, you can follow me there. You should be expecting the Manchester City second leg live reactions, but not only that, you can also go back and right now watch the Chelsea ones, both first and second leg, the PSG ones, both first and second leg, and I'm telling you right now that second leg one is crazy. Obviously, the Chelsea one too, and go back. I obviously just posted a video of Madrid winning the league this weekend. You can go back and watch whatever live reaction to whatever game this weekend. The Sevilla one is a really good one. Obviously, the Barcelona ones were really good. And even you can go back to previous seasons. So you have so much different content that you can watch in the channel now that's just been kind of building up. And obviously a lot of good.
Oh, shit. Well, I think his internet like cut out or his phone died or something. So I'm just going to end the stream here. Sorry about that, guys. I'm sure he didn't mean, like, I'm 1,000% sure it's just like a tech problem. But make sure to go follow Rodrigo and make sure to subscribe to my channel as well. Put out a ton of content. I recently put out an interview with Ben Jacobs that you guys love, talking about where Chelsea are going now with the new ownership and what to expect and all of that. And yeah, it's gotten like really great feedback. So if you haven't watched it, make sure to go watch that, because I'm really, really proud of that one. And yeah, hope that you enjoyed. And until next time, I'm out. Bye.